You know when your body just tells you you need something in particular to heal? Well, today is a day that I'm just craving something with lots of medicinal mushrooms in it. So I decided to make a soup, which is really what I'm craving. But I also wanted something that was comforting. And you know, one of the foods that we all find comforting is bread. And I happen to have a lot of kind of stale bread lying around because I bake a lot. And so here's a loaf that completely dried out because it didn't get eaten in time. So what do I have in my bowl here? I have bread that is soaking. This is what the Italians do. Oftentimes, old bread gets soaked and it goes into a soup such as the papa al pomodoro, which is a tomato and bread soup from the Tuscany region. And today I'm going to be using this old bread that I soaked and I'm going to squeeze out, and that's going to go into my soup to give it a little bit of comfort and texture and flavor. I don't have an exact recipe for what I'm about to make. I am cooking by feel, by what I want to eat today. The other key to this recipe is that I'm featuring what I call my brilliant bouillon from the Homemade Vegan Pantry in this book, and this is your bouillon base that you buy in a jar. There are commercial brands that you can buy in a jar, but you can also make your own. And this one is based on dried mushrooms. So we're going to start out with the brilliant bouillon. I did make another video showing you a couple of different versions of this, maybe a couple of years ago. You can check that out, or you can just follow along here. We're just making the bouillon, and then we're going to make this 3 mushroom soup featuring dried porcini, crimini mushrooms, oyster mushrooms that I foraged, and medicinal turkey tail. So we're going to start out by making the porcini powder. Now you can use shiitake as well, but you're going to get a different flavor. And today I am just craving this. These are Italian porcinis. They smell so great. I buy a big bag at a time, and then it lasts me for a year. And it's just so worth it because it just makes everything taste so much richer. And it is just cold outside and rainy, it's stormy, thunder. And I need some really healing soup. So we're gonna start out by turning this into a powder. You wanna wait until the dust settles before you remove the lid, or you're gonna lose all that powder into the air. It'll smell great, but you'll lose it. Oh my God, no, I'm not gonna snort it. It's not that. It's something I've never done. Oh, it was a little goody two-shoes, I guess. Now I have porcini powder to add some flavor. For my brilliant bouillon, I want a 1/4 cup of this. And I'm gonna put it right in there. And this jar I'll set aside for later. All right, so now I'm gonna add a 1/4 cup or 4 tablespoons of a neutral oil. You can use a mild olive oil as well. And then I'm gonna add a 1/4 cup of white miso. Now white miso, even though it's called white, isn't technically white. It's sort of like a tan color. And that's gonna add umami. It's gonna add the salt that you're looking for. It's going to add depth to this. It's just gonna take this over the top. All right, and then I'm gonna add a 1/2 cup of nutritional yeast. I have a tablespoon each of onion powder and garlic powder. And for my final liquid, I'm gonna add 3 tablespoons of soy sauce and then 2 teaspoons of salt. And we're gonna puree this to make a paste. All right. And now I have my brilliant bouillon that I can store in a jar, keep in my refrigerator, and whenever I want a cup of warm broth on a cold rainy day like this, or I want to use this as a base for making soup without having to make my own vegetable stock, I have it on hand. And I didn't spend a ton of money. I just went to my cupboard. I know porcinis, you may be saying, they're expensive, but they go a long way. And if you want to substitute with shiitake mushrooms, dried shiitake, you can do that as well. I'm going to use about 1/2 an onion on this stormy day. Oh boy, the thunder last night, the lightning. So my body is telling me what I want, and I do want some allium, so I've got my onions in here. I do want a little carrot in my soup. This is not going to be a cream of mushroom soup. It will be brothier, but I want a little bit of other vegetables as well too. So I've got these wet oyster mushrooms that I foraged. They soaked up the rain. You know, you want to harvest mushrooms or forage mushrooms after the rain when they pop up and they're kind of dry, not during the rain or before the rain and they get completely soaked. But I'm trying to salvage these and I just feel like they're going to have the nutrition that I need. So I'm going to go ahead and put them in my soup. I also have This is called turkey tail. Now, this doesn't usually have a culinary use. They're woody and chewy. You don't cook with them, but they are very medicinal. They are very, very healing. And I'm just going to add this to the soup, to the broth, so that they release their medicinal purposes. There's a lot of false turkey tails. Please don't harvest them if you don't recognize them. They look like this. They grow on dead tree trunks, but the other underside has no gills. It's just pure white. So that is one of the ways you recognize a turkey tail. They don't have a lot of flavor. They are very earthy. They will impart just a slight amount of flavor, but you will not want to eat this in the soup. And then I just have 4 large cremini mushrooms, so we're going to use those as well too. My body is saying mushrooms. That's what you need, girl. So that is what I'm going to have. I think I'll add 1 more carrot. I'm kind of using up what I have in my fridge. I'm out of regular, store-bought olive oil. All I have is my estate olive oil from our trees. Just wonderful, robust olive oil, because we picked them when the olives were slightly on the greener side rather than being completely mature. So this is a pretty spicy olive oil. So I'm just going to let that heat up for a minute. Got some salt in there, and we'll saute that for a few minutes until they soften. We've got a little bit of garlic as well. That's going in there. Not too much. I don't want this overly garlicky. I know we put porcini in the broth, but I also have about 1 ounce of porcini slices. I'm going to soak these in water. Now, porcini soften relatively quickly in just a little bit of lukewarm water. Dried shiitake takes forever, however, so you have to remember that. It's better to let them soak longer in tepid or cold water for that full flavor, and it's going to take, a good couple of hours or even overnight. Oftentimes, I will just have dried shiitake soaking in a jar of water in the refrigerator so I have them ready at all times. And, they keep for about a week or so. I got this very stale bread. Somebody came over the other day. They said, "What's that dry bread on your counter?" So I don't throw bread away, as I mentioned. And we are going to, if I can, I'm going to try to soften this up in water, and we're going to soak it for a little while. Let's see if I can take that apart now. I can. Oh. Okay, a little more water. There we go. Coming apart now. All right, so I'm going to soak the bread in some water. This is ready. I'm going to start adding the mushrooms now. Okay, and I've got the oyster mushrooms that I foraged that are wet. Too wet to do something really wonderful with. I did try to dry them. I put them on paper towels, and the paper towels just kept soaking up all the water. But I think they're going to be fine in the soup. So we're going to go ahead and add the oyster mushrooms there. Of course, you can use store-bought oyster mushrooms if you don't know how to identify them, or you can get one of those mushroom growing kits as well. All right, let's take a look at the porcini mushrooms. So it's flavored the water. I'm going to add this as well. Nice and soft. It's in about 20 minutes. All right, I'm adding about 6 cups of water to this. Now I've got the brilliant bouillon, which I didn't bother to dilute because it's just going to get diluted in here. I don't have to dilute it separately. So I'm just going to add that. And you can adjust the amount. You can taste it after this has simmered for a while and say, I want a little bit more or a little bit less. If you want to add a splash of wine, you could also do that. I'm not craving that right now. I just want something that is healing. And then the turkey tail, I'm going to just drop that in there. I don't think it'll add a lot of flavor, but hopefully it will release whatever healing property it has that we all need in the winter. I'm going to add a little bit more of my broth. And at the very end, I think we're going to add a little miso, extra miso as well, which is also incredibly healing. Now you want to dissolve that broth, the brilliant bouillon, and we're going to cook this for about, I think maybe 20 minutes or so. Okay, I'm actually going to add a splash of soy sauce. Okay, Luke, I'm going to feed you. It's literally exactly 5 o'clock, and he's here on the nose at 5 o'clock. Hold on. You could simmer this for a long time. I'm just trying to get out the turkey tail here. So we just want to simmer that long enough, so we're going to let that go a few more minutes, and then it's ready. All right, we're going to squeeze this out. So I want the bread to absorb the soup. Now, simultaneously, I'm going to pop this into the oven and show you how Even with bread that's as hard as rock as this, you can revive it and have a slice again by soaking it in water and then baking it. I don't waste bread. Some carrot tops just for a pop of color because I don't have any parsley or anything else. Yes, they're edible. Finally, we're going to add just a little bit more miso, which is also very, very health-giving. And it'll create a little more umami for this soup. Make sure you dissolve it all. Finally, we're going to put our bread in there and let that soak for a minute. Kind of one big chunk per serving. Okay, now the bread, which has been soaked in water and then squeezed out, has now absorbed the flavor of the soup. Putting all the wonderful mushrooms on top, a little bit of green for color. I think I'm ready to eat. Hello, you are my baby boy. I love you. I need to relax, and I need some soup, and I need comfort. You know what gives me comfort? Soup and you. You are what gives me the most comfort. I don't know what I would do without you, my little boy, my little koan. I know I have some soup here, some mushroom soup. It's very healing. I'm going to give it a try. Oh, that looks so good. Oh, smells so good. It's a little hot for you. I have your food coming in a minute. It just hits the spot. I just feel like it's already going to work to strengthen my immune system and just make me feel better on this cold, rainy, wintry day. Now, if you're the kind of person that likes a little bit of kick, you could add a little cayenne or a little pepper to this. Can't really taste the turkey tail, but I know I'm getting all of that immune boosting, whatever it has in it. What a perfect meal for a cold, rainy, wintry day. I hope you enjoyed it. Give something like this a try. Please do things that make you feel strong and that heal you. Hope you like and subscribe, and I'll see you again next time.